centers to Envision centers. You can go online, look them up. They opened up.
On the surface, Steve and Marjorie Harvey seem like the perfect couple, successful, powerful, and deeply in love. Their glamorous lifestyle, inspiring love story, and public unity make them look untouchable. But behind the laughter and designer smiles lies a history full of secrets, betrayal, and survival. Their love story, often portrayed as destiny, has roots in a past that neither of them can fully escape. From Marjorie's dangerous connections to Steve's broken marriages, the journey that brought them together is far more complex than anyone imagined. This is not just a tale of love. It's a story of ambition, reinvention, and the heavy price of fame. Marjorie's shadowed past. Before Marjorie Harvey became the elegant woman admired by millions, her life was intertwined with men who lived dangerously. Her first husband, Jim L. Townsend, was no ordinary man. He was a major drug kingpin, running a massive cocaine empire across several states. Marjorie's world during that time was one of luxury and fear, surrounded by power and risk. When federal agents finally took down Townsend's empire, she stood at the center of it all. Townsend was sentenced to life in prison without parole, but Marjorie walked away untouched. Rumors began swirling that she might have cooperated with authorities to save herself. Whether those whispers were true or not, her escape from that life raised questions. Was she a victim, or was she simply playing the game to survive? Either way, her past was forever marked by that dangerous chapter. From one empire to another. After Townsend's empire collapsed, Marjorie didn't step far from danger. Soon, she found herself involved with another man, Donald Woods, another major figure in the Memphis drug trade. Once again, her world was filled with fast money, danger, and the intoxicating power that came with it. But history repeated itself. Woods, like Townsend, eventually faced legal troubles, and their marriage crumbled. By now, people had started noticing a pattern. 2 husbands, both drug dealers, both imprisoned. Some said Marjorie was simply unlucky in love. Others believed she was drawn to power and wealth, no matter the risks. Whatever the truth was, one thing was clear. Marjorie had learned how to survive in worlds built on chaos. Little did she know, her next chapter would take her from the underworld of crime to the bright lights of Hollywood. The moment that changed everything. It was in the 1990s when Steve Harvey first saw Marjorie at one of his comedy shows in Memphis. She walked in late, and the moment he saw her, he stopped mid-performance and declared, "I don't know who you are, but I'm going to marry you one day." It sounded like destiny, but there was one problem. Steve was still married to his second wife, Mary Lee Harvey. At that time, Steve's life was far from perfect. He was rising to fame but struggling in his marriage. Rumors of infidelity followed him, and his relationship with Mary Lee was crumbling. Marjorie entered his life like a storm, beautiful, confident, and unlike anyone he had ever met. Their connection was powerful, but it came at a cost. What began as flirtation would eventually tear apart a family and reshape Steve's image forever. A marriage torn apart. When Steve's marriage to Mary Lee ended, it wasn't just a private heartbreak, it became a public spectacle. Mary Lee claimed that Steve had been unfaithful and that his affair with Marjorie had destroyed their family. The divorce turned bitter, filled with accusations, court battles, and emotional breakdowns. Mary even took to social media, releasing tearful videos accusing Steve of betrayal and claiming he had taken their son Winton away from her. She described her pain as soul murder. Yet when the dust settled, the court sided with Steve. Her claims were dismissed as unproven, and Steve was granted custody of their son. But the damage to his image was done. For the first time, the public saw cracks in the picture-perfect image of the wise, faithful family man. And standing at the center of it all was Marjorie, the woman who had captured his heart and divided public opinion. The rise of the Harveys. In 2007, Steve and Marjorie Harvey officially tied the knot in a lavish wedding that made headlines everywhere. To the public, it looked like the ultimate love story, two people destined to be together finally uniting. Steve called Marjorie the love of his life, and together they appeared unstoppable. But beneath the fairy tale image, the ghosts of Marjorie's past began to resurface. Media outlets dug up court documents, old relationships, and her ties to men from the drug world. And then came the shocker. Jim Townsend, her first husband, announced he was writing a tell-all book from prison, claiming Marjorie knew more about his criminal activities than she ever admitted. For Steve, this was a nightmare. His career depended on his reputation, and suddenly his wife's past threatened to unravel everything he had built, protecting the empire. Steve Harvey had reinvented himself as more than a comedian. He was a motivational speaker, author, and host of Family Feud, known for preaching faith, integrity, and family values. His success and $200 million fortune were built on trust and image. So when Townsend's book was announced, insiders claimed Steve was terrified. A single scandal could destroy his empire. But instead of hiding, Marjorie faced the rumors head-on. She presented herself as Steve's pillar of strength, a devoted wife who had turned her life around. Together, they built a narrative of redemption and love, a couple who had overcome every obstacle. And surprisingly, it worked. Public sympathy returned, and the Harveys brand only grew stronger. But behind the smiles, the whispers never stopped. People wondered if their love was real or just a carefully managed empire built on control, strategy, and image. The power couple brand. Over the years, Steve and Marjorie Harvey became one of entertainment's most admired power couples. They travelled in private jets, hosted charity galas, and shared romantic vacations on social media. Their lives looked perfect, but insiders claimed that image came at a price. Their marriage was not just emotional, it was a business partnership. Their brands, finances, and influence were so deeply connected that separation wasn't an option. Divorce would mean the collapse of everything they'd built together. So they kept up appearances, presenting unity no matter what storms brewed behind closed doors. For Steve, whose empire relied on his wholesome reputation, any scandal could bring everything crashing down. Marjorie, ever the strategist, ensured their image stayed spotless, at least in public. Together, they mastered the art of perception, living under the weight of secrets. As time passed, Steve and Marjorie learned to navigate fame and controversy hand in hand. Yet, beneath the glamorous exterior, old questions lingered. Could Steve truly escape the shadows of Marjorie's past? Could Marjorie ever truly leave that world behind? Every resurfaced rumour reminded them that their story was built not just on love, but on reinvention and survival. They poured energy into charities, fashion lines, and family ventures, all to keep their brand untouchable. But in Hollywood, the truth always finds a way to surface. The Harveys may have built a fortress of wealth and fame, but inside that fortress lies a fragile truth. Their love story, as inspiring as it seems, is also a story of power, image, and secrets too deep to bury. Conclusion: Steve and Marjorie Harvey's life together is a modern American saga, a story of love, redemption, controversy, and survival. From Marjorie's dark beginnings to Steve's broken marriages and their eventual rise to power, their journey is both inspiring and unsettling. They built an empire on faith and fame, learning to turn every scandal into strength. But even with their millions, influence, and picture-perfect smiles, one truth remains. Behind every polished photograph lies a past that refuses to be forgotten. Their love may have conquered the odds, but it also reminds the world that even the most beautiful stories can be built on painful foundations. In the end, Steve and Marjorie Harvey remain not just a couple, but a mystery, a brand, and a testament to how love, power, and secrets often walk hand in hand.